What is the most controversial thing you own?
I have an old Iraqi bill with Saddam Hussein's face on it. It's worth about 17 cents according to Google.
My grandfather went to the World Scout Jamboree in the Netherlands in 1937, and while he was there he traded patches and gear with some scouts from Germany. By 1937, the German Boy Scouts had transitioned into the Hitler Youth, so I own a Hitler Youth Boy Scout uniform with a bunch of swastikas on it.
A complete ivory and ibony chessboard bought a sale of confiscated poacher stuff to fund elephant preservation. When I lived in Zambia and was on holiday in Kenya, my dad bought it and I got it as a hand-me-down. We were friends with someone who owned an animal sanctuary and their security had shot the poachers as far as I remember. They had a parentless baby hippo as well. It stole my sister's chewing gum and tried eating their cat. It was moved further away from the main houses after it tipped over their landcruiser.
When I was 18, I bought a print of a 1918 German zoo advertisement from a thrift store. I thought the artwork was neat. It had a leopard on it, and I was completely cat-obsessed at the time. Turns out the artwork was by Ludwig Holwein. He would go on to produce Nazi propaganda.
I wanted a chinchilla really badly as a kid, but my parents said hell no. One Christmas my grandma got me a teddy bear made out of chinchilla fur. Luckily my parents told me it didn't hurt the chinchilla, it's just like getting a haircut for them, but they were like WTF to my grandma. I now know better, and am also like WTF grandma.
My family owns a petrified walrus penis. My grandmother took it to get it identified at the Smithsonian several decades ago. Apparently her grandfather, or maybe it was her great-grandfather, brought it home after he spent several years on some type of expedition up around northern Alaska and points north. It has been loaned out to several museums at different times. The family has talked about selling it, but everyone has to agree, and so far there is no agreement about selling it. So I own 1/67th of a petrified walrus penis.
I have a set of small bone carved snuff bottles from China, dated to the 19th, with explicit images on them. They're kind of curiosities in themselves, but when my in-laws separated, my MAL called my husband and asked him if there was anything in the house that he wanted, and he said, nothing but the explicit snuff bottles. She took them and left them with a note that said, I've left you, please don't contact me again. I've taken the snuff bottles, they were the only things in the house I liked. After their separation, we got all sorts of controversial hoardings, including a suitcase full of ivory and an abundant collection of Enid Blyton's first edition books.
An uncut DVD of Caligula. I am not sure if it is still banned or not.
Coney 2012 kit. It's a whole thing, and I don't want to talk about it.
An ornate, Boer tobacco jar from the 1800s. My great-grandfather looted it off a dead militiaman during the Second Boer War.
A first print edition of Batman Damned #1, the one featuring Batman's Little Batman. From DC Black Label, featuring more adult content. Violence and swearing are totally fine, but a shadowy penis profile made people flip out enough they removed it from subsequent print runs. You guys are some creative fucking people with your bat penis puns. Love it.
I have a glass vial/small bottle of pure histamine. If anyone would be exposed to this, they would get a deadly allergic reaction. I have it double sealed.
I don't think I have it anymore, but back when I was in 9th grade and my brother was a senior, we hosted a foreign exchange student from Norway. Without us knowing, he had been taking pictures of every overweight/obese American that he saw while he was here for the year. It wasn't until a year after he went home, on Christmas, he sent us a leather-bound photo album, like it looked really nice, opened it and boom. Hundreds of photos of people from Walmart and malls. My mom was not too impressed, but me and my brother had a good chuckle, not even at the people, but just the fact that he took all that time and energy to collect all those photos and then make them into a photo album.
I have a few ivory jewelry pieces from the early 70s my parents bought back from Botswana, and a poison arrow kit. Mum has the 3-meter-long python skin she just put in her luggage from back then too.
my great-grandpa was a medic in WW2 and we own a little chest with his personal belongings, including his diary, some old bandages and 3 vials of 1940s morphine.
My 26.5-inch scale 8-string guitar is apparently super controversial to every guitarist I've ever shown it to.
A mortuary toe tags from an asylum in New York, like 20 or so of them. I think they could be the only things left showing that these people actually lived.
Troll dolls were very big in the early 90s. I have a Confederate soldier troll doll in full uniform with flag in hand. Thanks, Dad.
An original copy of Mao's Red Book from when they were distributed in China back in the 60s, also a copy of Mein Kampf, but I'm not sure about this copy's backstory.
5 grams of uranium metal, stored under oil in a glass vial.
Not me, my parents growing up. They had an actual elephant foot turned into a table. Like an actual foot cut from an elephant and taxidermied made into an end table. Had a glass tabletop. You could feel the thin hairs on it. Fucking haunted my dreams, man.
A piece of irradiation bore drill encased in resin. It has a cloud floating above it in the resin where the focal point is. It's safe now, bizarre to think about, and probably illegal as fuck for a civilian to acquire today.
I bought a used Bill Cosby comedy album on vinyl, and the next week everything started coming out about the horrible things he had done, frowning face.
I have a wood carving of a Peruvian warrior holding the head of a warrior he defeated, standing on the headless dead body.
A full-length mink fur coat. It was my brother's ex's, and when they broke up, she just left a whole bunch of stuff with him, so he gave all of it to me, including that coat.
A ceramic jar with cocaine written on it. My father is a contractor, and he got it from a client who was descended from a relatively prominent U.S. president. It was headed for the trash. My father didn't steal it, of course.
A packaged stick from Afghanistan that claims to cure all known illnesses, including cancer, if you rub it on you. I traded an energy drink for it. I think it's pretty controversial, since I now own the cure for all ailments.
9-inch angle grinder from Harbor Freight.
As a joke, I told my mom I wanted my dog's testicles in a jar after we had him neutered. She took it seriously, and now I have had my dog's balls in a jar for almost a decade.
A big-ass swastika that was captured by a member of my family in northern Africa during WW2.